一会儿，我一会儿。朋友们。
Testing.
Dear guests, please remain seated as our program starts now. And again, again, our guests that are still standing, we ask you to find a seat that is next to you to be seated. 请我们现在还站着的朋友们和来宾找到最近的座位坐下，谢谢。
各位朋友，请大家尽快入座。我们今天在一起，希望朋友们相聚很开心。一会儿在晚会的进行过程中，我们会有给大家拍照的时间，所以我们先请大家尽快入座。我们已经超过了开始的时间，我们马上就要开始我们今天晚上的 program。Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Welcome, warm welcome to CSAS's 61st Annual Convention.
Thank you. Dear friends, family, and everyone, it's a thrilling night that we gathered here today at CSAC's grand annual event. And we're very honored to be the masters of ceremony tonight, standing here in front of so many brilliant talents.
In case you wonder what a CSAS stands for, which you shouldn't, CSAS stands for Chinese American Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California. So we have a room full of engineers and scientists. But if you're not an engineer or scientist, or maybe even you're not that good at math, don't feel out of the place. Because CSAS has a very inclusive and a wide stage for many people. So let me start with introducing my co-host tonight, this very artistic young lady, Kay Zhang Yongyue.
Thank you.
Kay studied International Comparative Studies at Duke University. She's a director, producer, and a talent management associate. Her filming and producing works have won multiple prizes in recent years, including the gold medalist of the 47th Student Academy Awards. Notably, Kay was also a recipient of CSAC's Lisa Lu Scholarship just 2 years ago, right here.
Thank you. This is quite a homecoming event. Thank you. And please allow me to introduce Dr. Pan Xing, standing right next to me. Dr. Pan Xing is a graduate of Peking University School of Economics and received his PhD in Business Administration from University of Maryland in 2003. He has taught business undergraduates, MBA, EMBA, and PhD students at University of Maryland, Indiana University, University of California, Claremont Universities, and China, and was named as one of the favorite professors of students of UC Riverside. Dr. Pan has been actively serving the community and is a former president of the Southern California Alumni Association of Peking University.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you for the very nice introduction. We are very proud, once again, being the MCs tonight to present the CSAC's annual convention. CSAC was founded 61 years ago. It is older than most of us in today's audience. The CSAC founders, forerunners, and successors have continued to carry the dedicated mission to serve the engineers and the scientists in Southern California for many, many years, and have created great impact to our broader community.
We are all striving to make real and positive differences in this fast-changing world, especially after COVID. The theme of this year's convention, therefore, is innovation for a better world. Sounds cliche, but it is really what comes from the bottom of our heart. Our commitment to innovation and progress paves the way for our future generations.
We indeed face many great problems and challenges these days. Well, it is said the solution to a problem is often found by thinking out of the box. And don't forget, as engineers and scientists, we we don't just thinking out of the box, we're especially good at completely redesigning the box. So, get ready to innovate, collaborate, and make this world a better place.
Make the world a better place. 60 years is nothing compared to the history of humanization. 60 years is such a long time, but this effort of multiple generations of people like you and me, how you devoted your time, money, and knowledge selflessly to keep the organization thriving and prosper is the only reason why we're gathering here tonight.
So we really appreciate all the great work that the past board members and many volunteers of CSAC have done for the Southern California community. We also appreciate every one of you joining us in this grand celebration tonight.
We would like to take a moment to thank our platinum sponsors of our event tonight. Ms. Wei Xuemei, PM, CFA at UBS, Magic Kids Robotic Lab, Jonathan H. Zhang, CSAC Scholarship Foundation, Anna and Zhang Jie Foundation, Lisa Lu Foundation, as well as our gold sponsors, BDP Envirotech, Modern Jewelers.
We'd also like to thank the silver sponsors, friendship sponsors, and individual table sponsors. Today's event would not have been possible without your support. The sponsorship really makes an impact and a big difference. So, let's raise a glass, or as Chinese, the chopstick, to each other, to the incredible work we do, and to the bright future that lies ahead. And let's get this convention started.
Cheers! Thank you. And to start our program today, let's first show a video put together by CSAC executive team members to review the past great year of CSAC's achievements.
That is a very fast play of the video. A short couple minutes that it contains like great efforts that was dedicated by CSAC's executive members, many volunteers again, and that required tremendous individual efforts and group coordinations. Next, we want to invite Mr. Guo Chengxi, the current president of CSAC, to address the welcome remarks. Terry?
Welcome, Terry. Let's have the lights up, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pan. Thank you, Yuan. So, dear friends and CSAC members, it's great honor to have you here. Welcome to the 61st CSAC Annual Convention. And CSAC has walked past a fruitful history of 61 years, and we are stepping into a new era, carrying our legacy upon our shoulders. This year, we are choosing Innovation for a Better World as the theme of this year, which is hoping to share the ideas that will change the world in the future. And we hope this information that we're provided during this convention will be helping you understanding what's going on and having a good time in the future. So we started in case you missed our daytime program, we started our convention with a technical symposium using 2 of them, featuring biomedical engineering topics and also information technology. We have speakers talk about cloud computing, metaverse, as well as all the biomedical aspects. And then we move on to an entrepreneurship and innovation program where we have distinguished speakers talk about how entrepreneurship, how they use their experience in their expertise to build an enterprise. So, and we also have a career development forum that's co-hosted by me, and we hope to provide more value to the younger professionals and young students. All in all, I think CSAC is a platform for all our members to share ideas, to social, to communicate, and to better achieve our entrepreneurship endeavors and our career advancement. I hope this convention helped you in a step forward, and hope you can learn from the people that have come before us, and those who came and share their ideas with you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. Don't go. I wanted to say thank you. Terry, don't go. I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Terry for all of your dedication and your commitment to CSAC and for reviving and thriving our community. Thank you, Terry. And now, please join me to welcome our first keynote speaker, Dr. Zeng Fangang.
Dr. Zeng Fangang is a professor and the director of the Center for Hearing Research at UC Irvine. He has phenomenal expertise in anatomy and neurobiology, biomedical engineering, cognitive science, and head and neck surgery. He's a leader in hearing science and technology, and he was elected an international member of the National Academy of Engineering. That is one of the highest honors of those in engineering and the technical fields. So,
let's give them a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction. And happy April Fool's Day. And I thank Terry and Jason and Chinese American Engineer and Scientist Association for the opportunity to spend this beautiful evening with you. I know there are a lot of things going on tonight. Anybody from San Diego? Right. I was on the 605 San Diego State. Yay! Buzzer beater. I beat Florida Atlantic University. And they're going to the national championship on Monday. Congratulations on Aztecs and those from San Diego. I love basketball. Yeah. I know I have a friend from UCLA. I'm sorry that maybe Andy didn't make it either. What I would like to share with you today is my personal and professional experience in leadership. Right? Most Asian Americans here in the world view as work means work hard, and we don't get recognized at the top, especially when you move on, right? Your professional path, and there's well-documented evidence. that even though we're overrepresented in science and technology, but if you look at the higher you go, right, the less participation we have. So what I want to share is some of the things I learned, and maybe not only apply to my own profession, but maybe you can think how you may apply to your own profession. All right? Let's get the big picture. We have to get the next slide, please. So I work at a university, and there's always these two extremes: basic research and translation or applied research. And if you look at what is basic research, for those who are in this business, it's easy. You're trying to discover new knowledge, right? Why the ball falls on Earth. And this is more like a discovery. But what means next slide, thank you. The translation of research, you got to translate these discoveries into products that benefit humans. Healthcare is very important. Now here's the next slide, appetizers. Since World War II, the scientific publication has exponentially exploded. We have a total of about 120 million papers. 120 million papers. 1 of every 3 Americans seems to have published a paper. And this is something from Nature to South Africa. What happened is, the things that matters, disruptive discovery, seems to get less as we have more publications. So what it means is we're doing boring stuff, right? And I'm not going to go into the details why this is happening. And maybe specialization is the problem. We're too specialized. We add a little bit to what we already know. That's why we need more interdisciplinary, right? Cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary research. And that's the next topic. On the other hand, next slide, please. The translation is also hard. I'll just give you 2 numbers. 2016, the whole United States universities, they have about 650,000 patents filed. And you look at how many of them have actually become startups, 10%. And then you look at further down the street, how many of these startups actually made a commercial products. Well, the number is even smaller. It's less than 1%. 1%. Next slide. And also, we promised too much. This is a study done about 20 years ago. You look at all these top 100 publications from Science, Nature, and Cell. They all promised when you're very important, translative, and become something, help your health. Give them 5 years. Give them 20 years. If any of the promise will deliver actual products. Well, only 5 lines. Only 1 in hypertension becomes a successful product. So translation is also very hard. Right? Next slide, please. So what does it take to do good research, to translate research into products? Well, think about this. I know I heard there's entrepreneurship, medical device, a lot of things going on today. But what does it take to not only discover, but translate that discovery into something beneficial? Next slide, please. And I'll tell you some of the things that I've learned. I work with people who have hearing loss. If you know deafness, we call it invisible disability. You may or may not know it's the #1 birth defect. About every 1,000 babies who have hearing impaired, and it's also the #1 disability among veterans. This is very important. Out of all the risk factors we can prevent to either delay or prevent dementia, Alzheimer's disease, hearing loss is #1 risk factor. So come to see me if you feel not understand what's going on talking to people nearby. Right? I'm the expert here. But most importantly, hearing loss or deafness lower the quality of life. Next slide, please. Anybody recognize this person? Helen Keller, who is both deaf and blind. And she once said that blindness isolates from objects, deafness isolates from people. That's why we're here to communicate. Next slide. We're clear. Is there any way I can control my own click? Yeah, great, thank you. So, right now, there's only one medical device called cochlear implants that can treat deafness. And the person who did it, Dr. Bill House, who practiced in USC, not far away from here, a place where a house here is in Taiwan. When he started this business, trying to develop this medical device, and his colleagues, or those in mainstream, here's what they say. Schubert, chairman of Ear Hospital at Harvard University, said, autology is a new operation, right? This is not another famous physiologist from Germany. Said, from a physiological point of view, cochlear implants would not work. Right? How you like famous linguist said, cochlear implants are bad medicine. Now, this is the thing about you're trying to be disruptive. You're trying to be innovative. It means that what you have to go through, you have to challenge authorities. And most of the time, the authorities will disagree with what you say and disapprove what you do. But he persisted. He got the first FDA cochlear implant, and right now it's over 1 million users working around, and 50% of them are adult users. And more importantly, about 500,000 children who are born with deafness, and now they have cochlear implants, and they can develop a language. They can go to mainstream schools. They don't have to go through education, special education program. And importantly, this breaks so-called stigma associated with deafness. I just love this picture. The father said, hey, you're a little cool kid, and I'll get a tattoo so I can go out and make a fashion statement instead of stigma. But cochlear implants also become a tool for us to discover basic knowledge. I remember I got into this field in 1990. I went to LA and they said, cochlear implants can we use it as a research tool to help us understand some of the brain mechanisms. And one of the things we did, right, was to find out that the brain is not linear. If you look at the psychology textbook, for over 100 years, people thought our brain is a passive device, it's a very linear device, doesn't do much. And we proved that's simply not true. So if you think about what leadership, reflecting is important, you have to be bold, you have to be confident, open-minded. This is an objective for those who think about what it will take to do good basic research. Most importantly, challenge an authority, challenge your boss, challenge your teacher. As a professor, nothing more bring more happiness to me than the student challenge me. And I will use Winston Churchill's word to describe the important leadership in basic research. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that path. So I'll move on. When we try to do translational research, so we got a very good medical device called cochlear implants that can treat hearing loss. And I was there in the mid-90s, and I went back to China. And China is the most hearing impaired people, 27 million hearing impaired people. And I said, why there's nobody there to use it? It's really expensive. How expensive? The device itself, about $50,000 US, not counting surgery. Even though we have more patients who got a cochlear implant, more volume, the price does not drop. And this is only happen when you have one company there, because monopoly. So, I thought, if we want to introduce this device to developing countries, like this child in Sahara place in Africa, their annual family income, $500. $500. If they want to purchase one cochlear implant, it will take them 100 years. 100 years, don't have to buy new clothes. They can afford one cochlear implant. And that's totally impossible. So they would say, hey, anyway, we can break this monopoly. So we try to develop a new product. And it took me a couple of times. The first time failed, second time it succeeded. And this is something that I will share with leadership that needed to translate research into a product. It's not courage, you need that, but you have to think about safety over innovation, effectiveness over innovation, reliability over innovation. We heard the story over. I can try 100 times. If it works one time, I call that success in basic research. Imagine you're developing a medical device like a pacemaker. You better be 100%. If not 100%, 99.99999% that got to be safe and effective. It took us 3 years and $30 million. We got a problem. And we went to clinical trial. And we implanted 60 patients across China, a lot of them from very remote places like Xinjiang and Xizang. And we followed them for 3 years. And here's what we discovered. The y-axis is the percent of symptoms of speech they can understand. Before the cochlear implantation, they got nothing. It took them about 6 months to a year. They can understand 70, 80, or 90% of speech. That will allow them to carry on the conversation on telephone and also develop language for children. And what I'm most proud of is we have a product price of cochlear implant gap. Before we got into the market, the cochlear implants was about $50,000. And for Chinese government program, they purchased $1 billion. The unit price was about $40,000 in 2010. When we introduced our product, we forced the price coming down to 1/10. And what that means is, 10 years ago, the government spent $40,000. One child benefit, now it's 10 of them benefit. So when I think about what it takes to transform the research into a product, it's a very different set of skills. Very different set of skills. And it's easy. The most important thing, you've got to know your end users, your customers. You have to control the cost and do it on time. And I'll use the most perhaps successful business to describe what it takes to translate research into product. Steve Jobs said, to turn interesting ideas into a company, it requires not innovation, discipline. So that's what's important, I think, in leadership. And why all of this matters? So I'll conclude my talk by bringing another third important leadership attribute, which is what matters to help people. I'll tell you a couple of stories. Local happened in California. Second side is a company trying to restore hearing to blind people. And they raised about $150 million and went public, implanted about 500 patients. But they couldn't sustain the business. Went to bankruptcy last year and left 500 users helpless. And this is a headline story. 75 11 users in the dark again. So we have to think what we need to do to make it more sustainable. And of course, Have any of you read Bad Law? And also his movie, Elizabeth Holmes, right? And for whatever reason, I think the idea is good. But there's something that basically bottom line, she didn't hold. And of course, as a result, she went to jail. So I thought, despite fame, money, power, and in addition to courage and discipline, we may need something else if you want to become a successful leader in whatever you're doing. And that can be something, maybe a little bit of empathy, a little bit of motivation, passion, love. You could do good. And I'll finish my talk by showing you this picture. Mother Teresa, who said, kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. Very important, she said. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zhou, for the inspirational speech. In recognition of Dr. Zhou's distinguished contributions to academia and our society, we're honored to announce that you are the recipient of the 2023 CSAC Achievement Award. We would like to invite Dr. Jason Wen, the Award Selection Committee Chair and 2011 CSAC President, to come on stage and present the award. Thank you so much. Dr. Jason Wen, please.
It's my great honor to introduce Dr. Zheng Pangang, the recipient of the 2023 CSAC Achievement Award, for his remarkable contribution to the field of engineering. You just heard, translational, such an important thing. Dr. Chen is a professor, let me try his word, otophagonology, and a biomedical engineer, and the director of the Irvine Center for Hearing Research. Dr. Chen is being recognized for developing better treatment for hearing loss and tinnitus, and for fostering inclusiveness in the engineering profession. He has received numerous awards and distinctions, as you can see from the slide. Next slide. Next slide. Among them, he is the fellow of American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering, and also the AEEE fellow, that's the largest technical association in the world. He's a fellow. Also newly elected as a member of the National Academy of Engineering, often viewed as the highest professional honor and a lifetime achievement as an engineer. Dr. Chen's innovative research has led to the creation of groundbreaking technology that have improved life of millions of people worldwide. He has also been a dedicated educator, mentoring, and inspiring the next generation of scientists and engineers. Dr. Chen received his bachelor's degree from the University of Science and Technology in China, 中国科学技术大学. Master's degree from Academia Sinica in Shanghai, Shanghai Shengli School, and a doctorate degree from Syracuse University in New York. The CSAC Achievement Award is a well-observed recognition of Dr. Chen's outstanding achievement and contributions. His dedication and passion for science and technology have made a significant impact on the field and have inspired many others. Congratulations, Dr. Chen.
Thank you, Dr. Chen and Dr. Wen. Thank you for sharing the greatest work that is available. All this great accomplishment, as we are all very familiar with, can hardly be accomplished without 政府领导的亲自体会、亲自支持、亲自关怀。So, next, we're indeed very honored to have remarks and a certificate presentation by our elected officials. Please welcome Dr. Charlie Lu Chunyu, to introduce our elected officials.
Dr. Liu is the chairman of Chinese American Political Action Committee and a former president of CSAC and Tsinghua University Alumni Association of SoCal. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Liu.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. CSAC won't be this successful without strong support from the community. We are honored to have our political officials to come here to appreciate the work CSAC leaders have done to us. First, let's welcome representative of State Assembly, Michael Fang of 49th District. Renee, please.
Hello, it's a great honor to be here today. My name is Renee Romero. I'm here on behalf of Assembly Member Mike Fong. The Assembly member sends his warm regards. Unfortunately, he isn't here today. He's away on a delegation, visiting another country with the members of the California State Assembly. We've sent remarks thanking the Chinese American Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California. Without this organization, we wouldn't have up-and-coming professionals in both science and engineering helping make the world of California a better place. We truly appreciate everything you do to help your commitment in furthering the careers of your members and providing career and educational opportunities. We are here to present, on behalf of California State Assembly, I'm here to present certificates of recognition to the Chinese American Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California, as well as to the chairman of this group and President Terry Yap. Thank you for everything you do for the state and for young professionals today. Thank you so much.
CSAC has a lot of scientists, engineers. We are all leaders in science, technology, in business. However, one of us, the scientists, engineers, penetrate to community service, become public official. One of us, the permanent member of CSAC, become the first mayor of this city, San Gabriel, who graduated from Chinese University. Let's welcome one of us, our permanent member, Tao Yiming, former mayor of San Gabriel.
Thank you, Dr. Charlie Lu, introducing. First of all, welcome to my city of San Gabriel. I'm currently is a city of San Gabriel council member, but I outgoing the mayor just 10 days ago. Right? It's right now just called a formal mayor. And I'm really glad to see the CSAC at the 61 years anniversary hosting in our city, the Hilton. I joined the CSAC, just volunteer 20 years ago. year 2000 that time, just like a normal volunteer. And on the your pre-president is our alumni, Jiaotong University alumni, it's Charles Wang. That time, actually, continuous the 2 years, I do the reception outside too. So when I saw the reception today, I bring me a lot of memory. And when the CSAC president, the previous president from the Beijing University, it's Si Zhangzai. Okay, so that time I is the PR person to hosting the press conference. But that time I'm living in Murray Park, so most of it in the Murray Park at the press conference. So I really like CSAC. It's it founded also my alumni association here in Harry Chi too. Okay. So current president of my alumni association too, Harry Bo. Okay. And Dr. Charlie Lu and Dr. Bruce Lee, we also have serve the community service for the alumni association. We have a lot of co-work together. So I know the CSAC is from the engineer. I'm a computer engineer too, but we want to serve the community. Like our Jiaotong University, the slogan, it's 饮水思源, from community, return to the community. The same thing where I do the elect officer, it's my purpose, also same thing, it's one from the community to return the community. We are not just an engineer, community give to us a lot of opportunity like current, we just listened to the keynote speech Dr. Zheng regarding that. Actually, I really appreciate 20 years ago for our engineer, we're just talking about technology, just talking about basic hardware, software. We don't have chance to talk about the brain search, the AI search. That's totally different. That time, even we have the mind, the computer, its capabilities cannot realize that these things we can do research. But right now, 20 years later, so it's a tremendous difference. Actually, this year, I'm graduated at Shanghai University, it's 40 years. So science is a tremendous growth so fast. So I really appreciate you providing this kind of service. Sorry, I didn't speak too much, but I just want to appreciate, I have my heart. I love the CSAC, so that's why I'm a life member for the CSAC too. So City of San Gabriel have the appreciation for our President Terry Moore and Chairperson Bruce Lee.
Thank you, Mayor Lee and Representative from Microphone for your recognition of the work that CSAC has done and for bringing us the best wishes for the future. Well, our dinner is being served and you're eager for the great taste of food tonight. We're also adding an amazing appetizer for you. Let's welcome the CUAASC 丽园 dance team. 南加州中华高校校友会联盟丽园舞蹈队 They will bring us elegance and charm.
如果那个时候还有一张船票，你愿意带我走吗？
Thank you, dear ladies, for your wonderful and charismatic performance.
And now is the proper time for you to chat around, walk around tables, shake hands, take photos with friends and family. Let's go ahead. And when our next keynote speech starts in approximately 10 minutes, we would ask you to remain seated again. Thank you.
All right. So while you're enjoying food, feel free to go around, take photos for now.
接下来的10分钟时间，请大家自由的用餐、走动、拍照等等。
Today, we celebrate CSAC's 61st birthday. Over the years, CSAC has served as a platform to enrich the competence of Chinese American engineers and scientists, to broaden their career perspective, and to protect their interests and the right through organizational efforts.
And next, we have a video for you featuring CSAC's legacy of the past 61 years. Please enjoy.
To unite the Chinese American engineers and scientists of Southern California. It all began back in the spring of 1961, when Henry Chi planned 14-year plans to discuss the formation of a Chinese engineers club. This club was officially established in the spring of 1962, and Henry Chi became the first president.
People learn the colors, they were watching, they're not watching you, they're watching themselves. So you learn what you can share, that inspire people, accepting as a minority. I'm glad.
for a group photo. We would like to capture this memorable moment and thank you for your dedication to CSAC over the years. And can we have the former presidents on stage, please? Now, can we ask everyone to return to your seat? And our next keynote speaker is about to give a speech.
Now, can we please ask everyone in the audience to return to your seat? Because our long expected, the next keynote speaker is about to give an important speech.
Okay, next we have our distinguished guest and keynote speaker today, Dr. Dean Ho, 何鼎博士.
Dr. Dean Ho is currently a Provost Chair Professor at the National University of Singapore, Director of the Institute for Digital Medicine at School of Medicine, Director of the N1 Institute for Health, and the Head of the Department of Biomedical Engineering. He is an elected fellow of the U.S. National Academy of Inventors, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering, and the Royal Society of Chemistry.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. For all the people in the back, there's going to be a pop quiz later. So pay attention today. Just kidding. So today I'm going to talk about the reason I relocated from LA to Singapore. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and growing up, my parents will know this, pretty much every single person who's ever met me knew me as the guy who would never leave Los Angeles. But now I live in Singapore, which is a short 17.5-hour flight away. So what got me to move to Singapore? So I'm going to share this amazing team that I work with to understand how we're looking at hoping to change practice in healthcare through what we call deep collaboration. So first things first, I wanted to acknowledge the team that makes this work happen. We're looking at a photo of my group, which not only includes engineers and clinicians, but includes behavioral scientists, healthcare economists, implementation scientists, all the way to people who work in the reimbursement sector. You're going to see about a 2.5-foot tall member of my group, not a researcher, that's my daughter in the front, what I really want to showcase is how our institute came to be and where we're headed. So we talk a lot about interdisciplinary research. It's a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for decades in innovation. And our team spends time training ourselves to explore this topic by asking ourselves questions like this, right? What will the world look like in 50 years? Right, and every single one of us in the audience has our own respective discipline, right? And when we ask this question, what will the world look like in 50 years? It's pretty natural for people to kind of default to their own area of expertise, to think about how will healthcare look. But what we do with our team is to challenge ourselves to understand what other sectors will look like, because it's all interconnected, all the way to transportation, all the way to insurance, all the way to the future of work in general, mental health, and beyond, right? And so with that mindset, I'm going to take everybody on a journey of how the Institute for Digital Medicine and how N1 does its work, right? So I'm going to start things off with my own journey of trying to understand other sectors. And so I review grants, large $50 to $100 million grants for places like Australia. And this is public info. One of the first grants that we ever looked at that was eventually funded was the first grant I ever reviewed that had an airplane, 3 helicopters, and multiple ambulances on the budget request form. Right? I think we're typically used to getting grants looking for cell lines, looking for et cetera, but this grant requested an airplane, right? And this grant was requested because in the outskirts of Australia, some people are hours away from their nearest healthcare. And when strokes happen, and you look at that golden hour, the ability to help people faster will save lives, but will also reduce healthcare burden for the country. Being in Singapore, being 5 hours away from our nearest healthcare is not something people in Singapore think about, considering you can drive from one end of the country to the other in about 30 to 40 minutes, right? And so I use this as a use case for our medical students, for our business students, for our engineers who want to innovate and develop innovations that will impact on a global scale, because we cannot have them only think from the mindset of what we're doing in Singapore, right? And so using that in mind, I tell people that given the popularity and the importance of interdisciplinary research, getting different disciplines together is easy, actually. Okay, some of you may disagree, but frankly, putting different disciplines in a room, that's easy. But achieving deep collaboration, where beyond the languages of the different disciplines, but looking at the incentives that drive different disciplines, the outcomes that different disciplines need to achieve to be established in their field, that's extraordinarily hard. Right, so I'm just going to go over a couple of use cases today for how we define our metrics for healthcare innovation. Right, so 2 very popular words. We've heard it today as well in the earlier session with the mentors and the mentees. Is translation and impact, right? These are 2 widely used terms not only in healthcare, right, but in other sectors as well. So when I set up the Institute for Digital Medicine, we wanted to start off by defining what impact meant to us. Right? So the National Academy of Medicine in the United States defines impact and translation using this T scale, right? With T0 being cells, tissues, and animals, right? T1 meaning you reach human, T2 clinical, large scale, and eventually changing practice. And of course, companies will often typically aim for T4, but within the walls of the Institute for Digital Medicine, we set up a goal to make sure that we could bring in-house innovation to patients at scale prior to spin-out, so that we could achieve a level of validation that would be patient-centered, to make sure that we could actually have clinical data prior to spin-out. And so did we get there? I'm not going to go over this in detail, but since we set up the Institute for Digital Medicine, this is actually outdated now. We have over 16 first-in-kind clinical trials underway, right? 16. These are all interventional trials. We just had this independently assessed about 2 months ago. This is indeed a first-in-kind portfolio addressing indications from optimizing patient dose selection for oncology, patient clinical decision support to infectious diseases, digital therapeutics, and beyond. The next question is, how did we get there? Right? When we set up the Institute, I wanted to note that my deputy director, immediately to my left, he's a surgeon, he's a practicing surgeon. He's actually doing surgery right now, I just messaged him. But he also built the AI backbone for our healthcare system in our cluster that has gone live, right? That level of expertise coupled with the Institute has led to unprecedented outcomes. If you look at our ideation board, this is relatively common. We have clinicians, we have engineers, we have cognitive neuroscientists, clinicians and beyond. If you look at the other sector, which is the implementation side, the very first hire I made into the Institute is not an academic. We retained an executive search firm and hired somebody from the insurance sector. Why? Because we wanted to make sure that the programs that we launched had the possibility up front of impacting patients at scale to achieve true adoption. Beyond that, we have an amazing team of behavioral scientists, implementation scientists. We also have executives from companies like Roche, who are themselves clinicians attached to the Institute. They come to us to learn about digital. We bring them in to learn how to run large-scale clinical trials that will bring innovation to patients. The next section of the talk is what I call no way. When I say no way, it's when we first introduced some of these innovations to the clinical community, those are the 2 words that we got. Right? And you know, that's understandable. Right? When we develop our innovations, as engineers, it is not reasonable to assume that everything we create is the greatest technology on the face of the earth. And quite frankly, oftentimes that's what happens, right? We need to think from the perspective of the user, and the user is not always the patient. The user can be the doctor, the user can be the nurse, can be the pharmacist, can be allied health, or it can be the entire workflow, right? And so we understood that outcome until we started generating data. What you're looking at here is a patient in Singapore, who had failed 6 lines of therapy. This patient was about 1 week away from hospice care, T-cell lymphoma. They failed everything, including immunotherapy. We got a sample of their blood. It took about 4 days, ran an optimization exercise with our AI platform, recommended an unconventional treatment. And this regimen, after given to the patient, again, it took years to achieve the trust, the clearances, the ethics approvals. The patient immediately had a complete response, made it to transplant, and ultimately achieved remission. All right. This is a case where a patient was a week away from hospice, reaching remission. Now we've got over 100 plus, 200 plus. We're having multiple patients on these trials with exceptional outcomes. Right? This patient here was told they would no longer tolerate any more chemotherapy. Every dose of chemo they got, they were admitted back into the hospital with acute liver failure. Using our approach, we reduced the dose of an off-label drug, gave them half the dose of what doctors thought they would need, ended up getting a response, and on the far right, we started running economics of this. At getting the lower dose, at not being readmitted, we were saving this patient tens of thousands of dollars, but getting a better outcome. This does not include us saving the healthcare system funding by not needing the readmission. So imagine that, spending less to get a better outcome. Right? Final example here. This is a more profound outcome. These were patients that were not responding to chemo. Second line. Quite common, in fact. What do? You keep moving on to additional lines of therapy until you reach end of line. Using this approach and calibrating these patients by giving them reduced doses, we flipped non-responders into responders. But I will be cautious in that our goal is not to go in and low dose every cancer patient. That is not the goal. The goal is to use this approach to allow each patient to experience a broader range of these doses so that we can find more responders. I will tell you that most patients still do need the clinically expected doses for their chemo, but we've shown time and time again that there are patients that appear to not respond to chemo, but at better doses that are right for them can respond. We presented this at ASCO, the major clinical oncology meeting last summer. This coming summer, we'll be giving a talk about this at ASCO. First time in US history that an interventional technology developed in-house will be at a podium at ASCO, a milestone for both engineering and medicine. As we all know, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. To address that, we put a team together, again, clinicians, behavioral scientists, implementation scientists. And we, in 2019, prior to COVID, built a team to develop a way to rapidly optimize combination therapies against, at the time there was no COVID, against any sort of outbreak, epidemic or pandemic. And we projected in 2019 that in the event of a pandemic, our need to rapidly prioritize or deprioritize therapies will be essential because healthcare systems and healthcare and industry will be overburdened, right? And so if you flash forward, we since developed a platform called Identify, which has since been used by countries around the world to prioritize and deprioritize therapeutic regimens, including multiple trials established due to Identify. By the way, for anybody interested in comic books, on the lower left, we even made a comic book about it. So we brought in educators, clinicians, senior management, senior administrators from around the world, and there's a link down there. There's a free download for a comic. And actually, interestingly enough, we didn't develop this for early readers, for children. We actually developed this for anybody who wants to learn about AI used for infectious diseases. We actually find that some of our most avid readers of this comic are lawyers. We actually realized that. We learned that over time. If anybody ever happens to come visit us in Singapore, we printed about 3,000 hard copies of this comic that showed up in March of 2020 to my office. About 3 days after they showed up to my office, we went into lockdown. So I've got about 2,900 copies still sitting in my office. So if you ever come to Singapore, you get I'll send you off with hundreds of free copies of this. All right? One thing I will mention is the WHO is going to feature this platform in one of its guidelines coming out in a couple months. Final example, relevant to everybody in the room. One of the most profound challenges of our time is the aging challenge, and it's particularly brutal in Asia. All right? In the next 10 to 20 years, there's every third person in certain economies will be over 65. And we are already seeing the effects of this in Asia. In fact, I'll use a personal story. My children go to a private school in Singapore, and over the past 6 months, drivers have retired at such a pace that there are not enough drivers to take kids to school. right? These bus companies, they charter independent bus drivers to take thousands of kids to school every day. And when somebody wakes up and says, I don't need to drive my bus anymore, I have a pension, I just don't want to drive, no amount of money will get me to drive that bus. It creates real challenges. When parents can't go to work, when kids can't get to school, right? Beyond that, when people are aging, we have people who will cost the healthcare system money, but are also not spending into the economy. It becomes a profound crisis, right? One way to address this is for hospital at home, to reduce the number of people driving up healthcare costs when possible, when suitable. So we went and developed what's called a digital therapeutic. This is a widely emerging field that has already started to achieve FDA clearance and reimbursement. And we're using software as treatment. In the middle screen, you're looking at a multitasking software. Highly effective, developed by NASA. It's open source. We brought in animators from Lucasfilm to work with our senior community. And what they did, this is the difference. What they did was, we started having seniors play this game at home. We started having healthy subjects play this game at home. We're also having brain cancer patients. We have a funded trial to have brain cancer patients play this independently at home. And we are seeing profound and durable outcomes in enhanced cognitive performance. All right. Digital therapeutics for remote monitoring, but also intervention. So the final slide. I talked a lot about healthcare, digital healthcare, treating cancer patients. We talked about optimizing combinations and doses to suppress COVID, to suppress cancer. Can we optimize combinations to go the other direction? Another profound crisis for the planet is food security. All right. By 2050, and I mentioned this during the earlier panel, by 2050 the world has to double its food supply, or we face a profound food security crisis. As we see with the Ukraine-Russia war, Turkey played a critical role in opening up the Bosphorus to allow Ukrainian grain to other parts of the world. In Singapore, right, where we depend on many parts of the world for food, the pandemic and the war brought about major issues. For everybody here today, I think it's no surprise over the past year or two of the pandemic, we've seen food prices rise profoundly. So in our team, we asked ourselves the question, can we optimize combinations to go this way and to increase food yield? So we took our platform and we ran a simple experiment growing spinach. And by optimizing the right ingredients for spinach growth, we increased yield from our proof of concept experiment by 30%. But you know what? Increasing yield alone doesn't matter. If the nutrition content changes, that's what matters. And so using our approach, we showed through an independent outside lab that by using less ingredients, we can increase the yield by 30% with no impact on the nutritional content of the food. We have since taken this combination, validated it on other types of produce, increasing some yields by over 200%. All right, healthcare matters, but so does nutrition, so that with the right nutrition delivered all over the world, we can hopefully create less patients over time. All right. Final thing I'll mention is that, as I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, I'm a short 17.5-hour flight away from everybody. All right. So communicating what we do to the rest of the world matters. So I currently co-chair a WHO committee on the regulation of AI for health. Right? In a couple months, we will release some guidances. And I've had the privilege to work with regulatory agencies from around the world, including FDA, on hopefully accelerating more AI healthcare solutions to patients. On the bottom, I recently had a chance to address the One Health Congress in Singapore, alongside WHO Director General and others from Wellcome Trust, etc., to start thinking about how we can reformulate new policy to accelerate interventions, not only for healthcare, but for food security and other matters to the world at scale. And finally, we're proud to announce that, my team, in advancing 16+ trials to people, we want more institutes around the world to be able to do the same.
And so we authored a book called Medicine Without Meds. This book is not a traditional academic textbook. In fact, there's no data in this book. So for the non-scientists and engineers, actually this book's a lot of fun. It provides a roadmap for how to accelerate digital innovation to patients faster, but also safely. I had the privilege to co-author this with 2 of the members of my institute. For any of you in the audience who've seen the movie La La Land, one of the stars of that movie, D.A. Wallach, who's a renowned musician, actor, and now investor, wrote the foreword for the book. And the conclusion is written by Dr. Eddie Martucci, CEO of one of the major digital therapeutics companies in the world, among the first to achieve FDA both clearance and reimbursement as well. So this book, 100% of our proceeds are being donated to patients. Right? We're giving all of it back to patients. This book comes out in October. This is our gift to, hopefully a gift, to the digital innovation community to help more institutes, more entities bring their solutions to patients. All right? So to conclude, I want to re-acknowledge the team that makes this happen. Right? It is a privilege to work with this group, and I learn from them every day. I think what makes what we do possible is that whenever we approach a problem, we walk into the room, each of us being able and willing to admit what we don't know. And with that wall down, it allows us to engage in the proper discussions to allow us to work across disciplines in a deep manner, right? To make sure we understand what's driving the person across from us. Some of our collaborators don't want to publish papers at all. They need to publish books to be considered successful. Some of our collaborators need to publish white papers, right? And so our ability to understand what drives our collaborators is what has allowed us to do what we've done today. So it's a privilege to work with everybody. That concludes the presentation. I just on a personal note, I think I was probably about this tall when I first started interacting with CSEC. And so it's a real privilege to see many friends and colleagues in the audience today. I wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to be here and wish everybody a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hall, for a very fantastic talk, and also, again, welcome back home. We're very proud to announce that Dr. Hall is a recipient of the 2023 CSASC Achievement Award. We'd like to invite Dr. Yue Rong, YR, to come on stage to present this important recognition. Dr. Yue Rong is the CSASC Award Selection Committee member and also 2015 CSAC President. Please.
For those who care about the college basketball, UConn leading Miami. Okay. On your program, actually, this is Dr. Jason Wen's honor. But tonight I will be Dr. Jason Wen for a moment. It's truly my honor to introduce our my honor and pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speakers and also students, Dr. Ding Ho. Professor Ding Ho is currently a director of the Institute for Digital Medicine at the National University of California. He also previously taught at UCLA and Northwestern University. Professor Ho's research has been to develop artificial intelligence, as we have heard, for a broad spectrum of indications from oncology, digital therapeutics, and infection disease, and he talked about a little bit. Professor Ho is elected fellow of the U.S. National Academy of Inventors, and he has a long list of affiliations, and only choose another one. Royal Society of Chemistry, also he's a fellow. Dr. Ho received his Bachelor's of Science, Master of Science, and the PhD, all from UCLA. Truly good. And also my alum. Congratulations.
Next up, we would like to introduce Ms. Christine Chung Yong. Christine is the daughter of the 1999 CSAC president, William Chung, and she's also a CSAC scholarship recipient in 1993. She graduated from UC Berkeley and UCLA with high honors in the field of business. She currently serves as a senior marketing manager for Oracle NetSuite. After William passed away last July, Christine worked with CSAC Scholarship Foundation to set up the William Chung Memorial Scholarship, hoping to pass on William's legacy in generations to come. Now let's give a warm welcome to Christine Chung Yong. And we would also like to present a video that she has prepared for us.
Started in 1999 and they carried CSAC into the 21st century. I was the board chairman during that time and we met quite often. I remember him as a talented leader with a warm personality. One of the moments that stands out to me was back in 1999 when Dr. Wenbo Li of the Los Alamos National Lab was charged for espionage for China. The accusation led to biased and derogatory statements against Chinese Americans working at all high-tech places in the U.S. Bill then accepted the interview from the New York Times. His comments was quoted in a first-page article where he took a strong stance by saying, "We are going to support him morally and monetarily." And I have been getting a lot of calls from our members. They are very upset and angry. The New York Times recognized Bill as the president of CSAC with 1,000 members. Bill's efforts highlighted CSAC in the mainstream media, which I think it was an important event for CSAC to record. Bill, thanks to all you have done, and we will all miss you.
I've been coming to these CSAC conventions since I was a very young girl. You see, my father was William Chang, or Bill Chang, and he served as president of CSAC in 1999 to 2000, and was also on the CSAC board from 2002 to 2004. My father truly enjoyed helping others, especially other Chinese engineers and scientists. He served on the executive committee for not only CSAC, but also other Chinese organizations throughout his life. And in his retirement, worked for a nonprofit organization, helping recent immigrants start their own businesses. He did this even after he turned 90 years old. I have to say, I really hope I'm not still going to work when I'm in my 90s. But for my father, this is what brought him joy and fulfillment. But it wasn't just about helping others, he also thrived in the social aspect of these organizations. He wanted to build a community and a professional network. I'm happy to see many of his friends he made with CSAC here today. The friends he made in CSAC really became lifelong friends of his, and I hope all of the CSAC members here will also find lifelong friends of the organization. Thank you, CSAC, for being an integral part of my father's life. I know he would have been happy to join the party here today, and I look forward to giving out the scholarship in my father's name a little bit later.
Thank you, Christy. Wonderful stories about the legacy, as we have heard multiple times already, and that continues. CSAC has given out scholarship to Chinese American students every year since 1985. Next, we're excited to have the 2023 Student Awards presentations. We're honored to start with this year's Scholarship Award ceremony with another distinguished speaker, Dr. Linda Liao Minfei博士. She has her MD degree from Stanford in 1981, MBA from UCLA. She is a chair professor, chair and executive medical director at the Department of Neurosurgery at UCLA.
Dr. Linda Liao was the 1986 CSAC Scholarship recipient when she was an undergrad student at Brown University, and she is also 2006 CSAC Achievement Awardee. She will share with us her journey with CSAC. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you, everybody, the organizers, for inviting me here tonight. And congratulations to the CSAC Scholarship Awardees of 2023. It's really a pleasure for me to be able to join you all in this wonderful celebration. And I must say, I was so impressed with the talks that you were saying with Dr. Ho. One thing I love about coming to this convention is that, there was such smart people. Everyone's is incredibly smart here. I was asked to give some comments on behalf of the prior CSAC Scholarship Awardees and talk a little bit about my own journey at CSAC. As we said, I myself was a CSAC Scholarship Awardee, just like those of you in the audience, back in 1986. And I remember filling out the application. It was a paper application at the time. I put it into my IBM Selectric typewriter, because there was no email back then. Typed out my application, put a little stamp on it, and then mailed it in. And, surprisingly, I got this award. And at that time, the award was very special for me. It was a very special award to me, because it was given by people who looked like me. I didn't have any Chinese American biochemistry or engineering faculty mentors when I was at Brown as an undergraduate at the time. And nobody in my family was actually in science or engineering. So it was very special to me to be recognized and sponsored by a group whose mission is dedicated specifically to advancing the careers of people like me, Chinese Americans. medical school at Stanford, and then I went to UCLA to do my neurosurgery residency and then a PhD in neuroscience. And became a faculty member at UCLA, and I've kind of been there ever since. It's been 25 years now, and now, looking back at it, it's been a wonderful journey. And in 2006, 20 years after I got my undergraduate CSAC scholarship, as was mentioned, I was honored with being awarded the CSAC Achievement Award, which was absolutely amazing. And the reason it was amazing was because it was such an honor for me to know that the scientists and engineers in this community, in the CSAC community, was following my career for 20 years. And that mentorship and career support throughout that time really was very meaningful, and I think helped inspire what I do today. And now, after a 37-year journey with CSAC, I was very young when I first started in this organization. Not quite as young as Dean, I was that small. But after 37 years, I am thrilled to be able to be here to help honor and congratulate the next generation of CSAC scholarship awardees. You, the young people who have achieved this honor, are the future of our fields and of our organization. Given all of your accomplishments to date, and I read what all of you have done, and it's just, amazing. I mean, you're so accomplished, much more so than we were 40 years ago. But given all of that, I am sure that you will all do wonderful and amazing things with your careers in the years to come. And I can't wait to hear about how all of you, individually and collectively, will have changed the world 20 years from now. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Liao, for sharing your journey with CSAC. I know we have a lot of students, some students I would say, actually not a lot of them, because you're highly selective, being selected for this year's scholarship, and you're excited. We'll let you continue to be super excited for a few minutes, and we're going to announce the winners. Okay? Next, we have a very important event for tonight. Upcoming is the CSAC 2023-24 board installation. We're highly honored to have Congresswoman Dr. Judy Chu to present over the board installation and give remarks.
Dr. Judy Chu has a legendary career serving the public. She was the first Chinese-American woman elected to Congress. She was also the first recipient of CSAC Trailblazer Award in 2013.
Let's welcome again Dr. Chu, and the new board members come to the stage.
May we have the new board members of CSAC please come to the stage. I have the honor of installing the 2023 Board of Directors of the Chinese Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California. Please raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. Well, that I will take the role of board member of CSAC for the upcoming term. I will uphold the bylaws of CSAC and serve this professional organization to the best of my ability and experience, without any reservation whatsoever. Congratulations! You are the 2023 Board of Directors of the Chinese American Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California. And I want to thank the Chinese American Engineers and Scientists Association of Southern California for inviting me to join you at your 61st annual convention. I especially want to thank your chair, Dr. Bruce Liu, President Terry Kuo, and your incoming president, Jonathan Jiang, and your entire leadership team for putting together this incredible event. For the last 6 decades, CSAC has been such an important part of our community. Over the years, you've held technical symposiums, hosted career development and leadership trainings, led business innovation programs, and continued to advance STEAM education for the next generation. And let me say that I am chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, or what we call APAC, and we fight to be the voice of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders in the halls of Congress. And this has never been more important, especially for those working in science and engineering. In Washington, D.C., we pushed back against the racial profiling of Chinese scientists, many of whom were accused unfairly, including Sherry Chen. And we defended her, and I am glad to say that this year she was awarded back damages for being unfairly targeted and accused of over $1 million. Yes. We also fought to end a terrible initiative called the China Initiative, a Trump-era Department of Justice program that targeted Chinese researchers. And guess what? It was ended last year. So no more China Initiative. We also fought to remove harmful anti-Asian provisions in the CHIPS and Science Act to make sure that bolstering our nation's competitiveness would not come at the expense of the civil rights of Chinese researchers and Asian Americans as a whole. But let me be clear, there is much more that we need to do, and the chilling effect on our academic community from the China Initiative still ripples. And in fact, there's a new report by Science Magazine which describes how NIH asked universities to investigate their faculty members for alleged grant misuse, with 81% of the scientists that they targeted being Asian, and 91% of those having colleagues in China. So that was enough to put them under suspicion, and that's not right. extremist lawmakers and media outlets have also put targets on the backs of Chinese American business leaders as well as those in public office. And in fact, some of you may know that there was another Congress member from Texas that even questioned my own loyalty to the United States, accusing me of being a spy from China just because of my ethnicity. And it was outrageous, it was disgusting, but also it was very, very racist because basically it assumed that no matter how long you've been in this country or how much you've done for this country, that you're always a foreigner in your own land. So we have to fight against this. We have to make sure that we fight for our civil rights, and nobody should face suspicions of disloyalty based on ethnicity, nation of origin, or just having family members in China. That is beneath us all, and that is why it is so important for all of us to join together, whether we are Chinese American researchers or scientists or engineers or people from the community. And we need to instead celebrate all of your incredible contributions to science and innovation. So thank you for inviting me to join you tonight. Let us fight together for equality for all. And I would like to present certificates of congressional recognition to your incredible leaders. Terry Guo, President, thank you for serving this past year. I really appreciate it. Chairman of the board, Bruce Liu. And of course, your incoming president of 2023, Jonathan Jang. Thank you for your service, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Chu, for coming here at your very busy night.
Dr. Sullivan, Ms. Judy Chu. Thank you.
Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Shi Dongjia, the CSAC Scholarship Committee Chair, to announce the winners of the CSAC Scholarship and the Lisa Liu Scholarship.
Dr. Shi Dongjia is Associate Dean and Professor of College of Engineering and Computer Science at CSU Northridge.
Please come on stage, Dr. Zhang.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Do you have a good time? Good. Now is the moment for our young students, heavy-duty load here to deliver our scholarships. Also, I'm the millionaire representing CSAC to deliver the checks. So now is the time for me to do it. I'm the chair of the CSAC Scholarship Committee. Along with me, I would like to ask Dr. Yu Wu come down here on the stage. I would like to ask Kenny Wang on the stage. I would like to ask Jinxing Li on the stage to help me to deliver the heavy-duty scholarship. Come down. Also, I would like to ask Linda Liao and also Christine Zhang to be here with me so that we can deliver the checks. We have so many applicants, for the scholarships. After review by a committee, we gave 10 scholarships to students who apply for CSUN General Scholarships. We also give 4 scholarships, Linda Liu scholarships, to the students. Let's do it one by one. The first one is the recipient from, let's say, Caltech. His name is Xin Hong Chen. Can you come down to the stage? Congratulations. Second one, Han Lu. Can you come down to the stage? Congratulations. Awesome. Sorry. Okay, the third one, Bowen Wong. Can you come down to the stage? Congratulations. The next one, Cameron Wong. Can you come down to the stage? Nice to meet you. Congratulations. The fifth one, Yang Lu, come down to the stage. Congratulations. The next one is a beautiful lady, girl, Andre Chen, come down. Congratulations. The next one, Johnny Young, come down. Congratulations. Nice meeting you. Next one will be Brandon Brooke Snyder. Congratulations. No problem. Next one will be Yuan Wu, Dr. Oh, it's a student. PhD student in UCLA. Come down. Congratulations. The last one for CSAC General Scholarship is Crystal Lee. Come down. Congratulations. Okay, can you go up? In front. down? Okay, good. So keep going here. You okay? Huh? Okay, thank you. Okay, all of the recipients can go down. Oh, all of the committee members stay. We have another groups coming. Congratulations. Congratulations, all of you. We still have 4 recipients coming for Lisa Lu's scholarship. Let me go one by one. First one, Zhongyu Wang. Can you come down here? Congratulations. The second recipient for Lisa Lu Scholarship is Jin Sui Song. Come down. Congratulations. The third recipient is Yaxin Lin. Come down. She's a photographer for us tonight. Congratulations. The last one is Xin Jiang. Come down. Congratulations. To the MCs.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. Next, we're going to welcome Dr. Jonathan Zhang to come to stage to announce the winners of the JHJ Prize and the STEAM Essay Contest Awards. Dr. Zhang is the committee chair of these 2 contests and the principal scientist at NASA's JPL. Dr. Zhang has hosted many informative STEM seminars at CSAC and inspired many people's interest in science and technology. He also generously donated these 2 prizes that is to be awarded. Please, Dr. Zhang. Before Dr. Zhang present the certificate, let me also briefly introduce the JHJ Prize for Fundamental Science awarded annually to the most compelling young candidates who have demonstrated a commitment to fundamental science inquiry through their achievement witnessed by published research in physics, chemistry, or mathematics. The JHJ Prize is an honor reserved only for our highly accomplished young scientists at age 26 or younger who have dedicated their talent to science. So, please welcome Dr. Zhang again. Okay, thank you very much.
the greatest joy in my life is to see the children's success. Not only my children, but youth as well. So let me announce 2023 Mathematics Prize 数学奖获得者李忠义 for fundamental development of a new neural operator for partial differential equations that can parameterize the integral kernel directly in Fourier space. The findings of this study enable more efficient and accurate simulations, leading to better predictions and decision-making in many applications. 周义礼 2023 Physics Prize 物理学奖 Nicole Barr for contribution to the understanding of surface temperature predictions for the 21st century and provide insight into global warming rates for different regions. This finding reaffirmed the need for immediate action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the impact of global warming. Nicole Barr.
The next category award that is going to be presented is the CSAC Steam Acid Contest Award. This award asks participants to propose a letter and/or an artistic drawing to introduce humanity to extraterrestrial civilization for inclusion aboard a near-future interstellar spacecraft. This letter and a drawing can also be used to teach humans about our story and to promote STEAM learning. So let's invite Dr. Jam again on stage to present this award. Dr. Jam, please.
I forgot to invite the selection committee members coming in. Okay. So the 2023 AC contest is a letter to ET. The first prize three people. One is Lilian Guo. All right, okay. So Lilian Guo is over there. Okay. And also Valerie Pan. And Jasmine Guo. The second prize, a letter to the ET. Isabel Zhou. The third prize, Yan Su. Up there. Anderson Gao.
And now we ask our guests to be seated again. Next up, I would like to introduce our sponsor for tonight, Ms. Angel Liao, who's the founder and CEO of Magic Kids Robotic Labs. And she will introduce her company to us and give us a warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Today is an amazing party here, and I'm here to support all the scientists and engineers, and the future scientists and engineers. When I was young, I would like to know more about robotics and computer science, but I don't really have a chance. So when I grow up, I think I have a dream to build this kind of robotics lab for my kids and more kids. As you can see on the screen, I hope one day our robotics lab can provide the kids play the drawing on top of our lab, and also have a very cool classroom for them. And they have a green screen to create any kind of media that they want. And we also have an underwater workshop for them to try some robot underwater. But the truth is that we start from now in Los Angeles and also in the whole California, till now in the whole market, and in the future maybe globally, we have a lab to provide all the courses and events for students from K to 18. So most of them are very young. Lots of people ask me, when can my kid start from learning robotics and computer science? I tell them, because the technology development is so quick, and today there are a lot of tools and the device can help your kid. When they just begin studying language, they can study computer science, robotics, and programming. So here is some of our lab pictures. The first one is my imagination, but the rest of them are the real locations in California, especially in Los Angeles. We start from Studio City. Now in Irvine, Chino Hills, Diamond Bar, Climate, and Torrance, Simple Side, and Diamond Bar, and Fremont, and Mountain View will have Magic the Robotics Lab. Today we have some of our lab owners here. That is from our Diamond Bar Lab and the Irvine Lab. So they are amazing young people, create an amazing future for our kids. Because based on this kind of effort, we provide our students not a traditional classroom, but this kind of environment for them to study science and try their ideas. The first row of pictures you can see is our students who won the NASA Space Challenge Local Award 2022. They are trying to create a power system for longer power usage on Venus. So they put themselves all in green and make their system into the Venus to create a cool video for it. And the second row of pictures are our students from Irvine Lab. They are last year's youngest NASA Space Challenge Award winners. And they created the first simulation device for Jupiter. Because we know that we have a lot of ways to simulate other kind of stars like Earth. But Jupiter, they kind of intends the different directions, and also they have so many colors. But based on our robotics and science skills, our students, they use mutual model to create this kind of device, present Jupiter in this creative way. So they become the youngest winners of last year's NASA Space Challenge. And in our labs, the kids can create a lot of things, not only for space, but also for ordinary life to solve all kinds of problems. We also try to let them understand the mission to Mars, the Venus, and all the new and fun NASA projects. So they will try to make their robots landing on Mars, create them into a cool video. So based on all the lab owners' efforts, Magic Kid creates amazing achievements in last 7 years. In last year, 2021 to 2022, 14 Magic Kid teams qualified to the World Championship, and they got back 28 trophies, which means they also have a very Judge Award. And we also won Gold Howard Champion of the whole world in 2021 to 2022. And the 3 athletic teams ranked the top 10 of the whole world in robot skill competition. And come to this year, this number, I didn't change, it's still 40, but actually the number is 39. NetKid brings 39 teams to the World Championship. It will host next month in Dallas. Just last weekend in US Open, NetKid teams won the top 3 award of teamwork and the top World Excellence Award, which means NetKid students, they are so good of global building, design, programming, interview, and they have amazing notebook. And today, some of our coach is here, including our head coach. Every single year, he coaches some team and become the top 10 of the whole world. And among these 39 teams, our urban lab brings 5 teams into the World Championship. Our Denver lab brings 7 teams into the World Championship. They are so proud of bringing all these kids to a great future. Also, NetKid are the local leader of NASA Space Challenge. In 2021, one of our team got the top award of NASA Space Challenge. Because of COVID, it's delayed the celebration party. 2 weeks ago, I was in NASA headquarters with our team getting this top award. And we had a lot of discussion with a lot of NASA scientists and different department leaders. And they agree with us that we should have the junior version and the teen version NASA Space Challenge, as well as NASA Robotics Challenge for the future kids. We'll host more events for NASA Space Challenge from 2023, that is this year. And in 2022, we have altogether 60 teams join the NASA Space Challenge. And 6 of them become the global donor, 2 of them into the final list. So this is some picture from NetKid Robotics Lab. Most of people know robots for education from Lego. But in NetKid Robotics Lab, like what you see in the middle, the picture, we bring kids not only Lego robot, but engineering robot, programming robot, AI robot, humanoid robot, and the drone. And we are not giving them course. We also host a lot of workshops and events like a Tech Lab. We bring our students to some labs of university. We also create some course for some older people in community, make them to come into the new technology with us together. That's the reason I'm here today. In the coming new year, we are going to bring our students' amazing award project into some real products and then promote this product through our global network. That's the reason I'm here today. I hope all the scientists and engineers here can supporting the future scientists and engineering, because we'll have a new organization for this, and we hope our students can get your support. So thank you very much. I'm Angel Liao, founder and CEO of NetKid Robotics Lab. Today I'm here with our team, our head coach, and our urban lab owner, and our Devon lab owner. I hope to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liao, and thank you again to Magic Kids for the contribution that you've made to CSAC. Now let's hear it from Dr. Su Jinghan, the Technical Symposium Comedy Chair, about what has been presented in the technical seminar this afternoon. Dr. Su?
It's my great honor to be the technical symposium computer chair of CSAT and to serve the Chinese American scientists and engineers. For the technical symposium this year, Professor Chen and I chose the topics in the fields of medical science and computer science, which is shaping or is going to shape our work in the near future. The medical topics included electrocardiography, how to invent the 100-year-old technology, development of target therapeutics and diagnostics, interface, wearable biosensors. The computer science topic included cloud computing technology and application, the metaverse concept, technology and applications. Thanks to Dr. Zhang Ruikang, Dr. Xun Chulin, Dr. Bao Wei, Dr. Tian Yun, and Dr. Chen Junyi. They all gave fantastic speeches this afternoon and have a very great interaction with all the audience. We are going to keep on inviting pioneering scientists and engineers to share the insights on the cutting-edge research and technology. I do believe the world will become better and better with our knowledge, with our innovations, and our engineers and scientists. Thank you. Have a nice dinner and a nice evening.
Thank you, Dr. Su. And next up, let's welcome Dr. Zhang Jiachen, the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Committee Chair, to tell us about what has been presented in the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Forum this afternoon.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. And for those of you who have attended our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Forum this afternoon, I hope you enjoyed the inspiring speeches from our speakers. They are just incredible. And for those of you who missed it, you probably missed $1 billion, but I hope we can see you next year at the forum. So why did I say that this forum is worth $1 million? The answer is simple. Entrepreneurship and innovation are the most important driving forces behind our economy, and they have the power to transform the world we live in. Entrepreneurs are the ones who identify problems and create solutions, and they do so by taking risks and pursuing their vision relentlessly. At the same time, innovation is the engine that drives growth and prosperity. Innovation enables us to tackle the most challenging pricing challenges, from climate change to healthcare, and like the theme of our convention today, we innovate for a better world. And that's why I'm so proud to have organized Entrepreneurship and Innovation Forum. And our goal was to bring together some of the brightest minds in the world and to share their insights, experiences, and ideas, and to inspire others to pursue their entrepreneurial journeys. So during today's keynote speech, Ms. Lu Zhang, a founder partner at Fusion Fund, spoke about the transformative power of technology innovation and how it's freeing human capacity. And she highlighted some of the key trends that are shaping the industry today, including the rise of generative AI and big data, and shared her insights of how entrepreneurs can best position themselves to take advantage of these trends and available tools like AI. And in the second part of the forum, we had a panel discussion on deep tech and clean tech entrepreneurship. And our panelists shared their experiences and insights on how to turn deep tech and clean tech expertise into enterprises. They discussed the challenges and opportunities, shared their tips for raising capital, founding a team, and highlighting some of the key trends and emerging technologies to watch. So overall, it was a great success, and I hope that has inspired some of you to pursue your own entrepreneurial journeys. And thank you all for being here tonight. And I look forward to continuing this conversation with you in the future. Let me know if you are interested in being a speaker, sponsoring our future events, or have any ideas for promoting entrepreneurship and innovations in our community. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jiachen, for sharing with us about the entrepreneurship and the innovation forum. We had multiple forums going on this afternoon. Next, we're going to invite Dr. He Yupao to come on stage to talk about what happened in the career development forum this afternoon. Dr. He was 2012 CSAC president, and he was also the founder of the Career Development Forum. So please, Dr. He.
Thank you, Professor Hanxi. Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good time. It's my great pleasure here today and to participate in CSAC 61st anniversary and by organizing the late Career Development Forum together with CSAC as well as CYPA. Congratulations on the 61st anniversary of CSAC, and also congratulations and for another wonderful year CSAC under the leadership of Perry Guo as well as Dr. Yufan Liu. And today is actually the event, so we're great success. We have a lead team of the speakers and achievers, and including the Professor Ding Ho, who is the 2023 Children awardee, and also he was a first professor and speaker in the LEAP 1.0 10 years ago. And we also have Dr. Catherine and Jacqueline Huang, as well as other speakers with Daniel Wu, and we have Ruby Liao, and we have Aaron Marr, and we have attorney Xiao Jiemo, as well as other speakers. And through this mentorship, through the panel, and through the different networkings, and we have a wonderful event where all the attendees got inspired and connected, and hopefully they also got what they need in order to advance their career in leadership. And as you can see from the two keynote speakers tonight, and Professor Zheng and Professor Ho, as science and technology alone won't be able to make the world a better place. Instead, we require to have collaboration, requires some curiosity, requires we have leadership. Right? So LEAD is committed to its unwavering mission down the road, and also looking for a continued collaboration with CSAC. And congratulations to Dr. Jonathan Zhang and the new leadership at CSAC, and we're looking forward to continued collaboration down the road. And we hope that by working together, we're able to become more professional and professional successfully, and also by working together, we can make this world a better place to live. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed tonight. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Dr. He, for giving us a summary information about this afternoon's wonderful forum. A little bit earlier, we had the new board installation. Next, while we're all expecting the new board to bring us a prosperous new year, don't forget about the hard work that was done by the outgoing board members. We're going to invite the outgoing board chair, Dr. Bruce Liu, come to stage to present a certificate to the outgoing board members. Please, Dr. Bruce Liu.
Thank you. Good evening. CSAC is an organization of teamwork. I want to take this opportunity to thank our three outgoing and board members, Dr. Charlie Lu, Dr. Xu Dongjia, and Mrs. Nancy Huang cannot come tonight.
And now, one of our last treats for you tonight, let's welcome Beijing Normal University alumni to bring us a Peking opera, Song of Pear Blossom. And now let's welcome Dr. Jonathan Chan again to present us the 2023 and 2024 CSAC President Speech. Dr. Chan.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to thank you everybody for staying so late. Thank you very much. And I was thinking, only if there's one person stay, I'm going to give the speech. But I think there's over 100 people still here, so I'm very honored. Members of CSAC, dear friends, with great honor, I'm standing here today as a newly elected president of CSAC. I'm deeply grateful for the trust and confidence you're having in me to lead this esteemed organization. I would like to thank you, Mr. Terry Wall. I would like to thank you, Mr. Terry Wall, and all the CSAC executive committee members for your hard work and dedication in making CSAC a more reputable and professional organization. And I look forward to continuing building upon your success by enhancing connection and collaboration among all of us, our community, and our friends. As engineers and scientists, we are striving for excellence, and we recognize the importance of collaboration, innovation, and inclusivity. Our association has been a driving force in advancing the fields of engineers and science, and I'm committed to continue this legacy. As we moving forward, we may face many challenges, both in our field and in the world at large. As an association, we have a unique opportunity to come together, use our collective expertise to address the challenges. I'm committed to fostering an environment